up, guys? How y'all doing today? And what's up, Wendy Williams, y'all? In an episode of I don't know who I'm rooting for. Near do well, Kevin Hunter, Wendy's ex-husband, literally now owes Wendy what is this? $112,000. Baby, Kevin was gloating when the demons were descending on Wendy. He thought he was going to just literally crip walk out of there with Wendy's money, eating vegan macaroni and cheese, kikiing with Sharina. And baby, don't you know when you dig a grave for someone else, Kevin, you might as well throw you and Sharina in, because that was beginning of Kevin's brokedom. But this is what I mean about I don't know who I'm rooting for, because her alleged guardian, Sabrina Carpenter, who looks like that she works with a firm that they have a history of being accused of taking people's money, taking people's settlement. You know, Wendy was supposed to be worth 40 million. Then when they got through with her, they talking about Wendy's broke. Even though Kevin's going to take that money back, it looks like it's just going to play for the Sabrina Carpenter is bleeding Wendy dry fund. But you know what? Y'all, let's get into this, because all I got to say is a win is a win. A win is a win. As bad as Calvin allegedly treated Wendy, or was rumored to treat Wendy, again, don't take my word for any of this. Please go do your own research and let me know if you agree with me in the comments. But let me tell you what I've heard, all right? As much as Calvin is like, Calvin, was keying and whatnot, I would rather burn money than let that man have it. In my opinion, his alleged, from all the blogs, physical, mental, all the mess he did to Wendy. I do believe that the reason why Wendy was on that Colombian dancing desk or whatever it is because she was in such a mentally and emotionally hurtful, painful, that I don't know. I do know that I do think that Kelvin is now getting his just desserts. I just wish it was going to Kevin Jr. and not Sabrina Carpenter, because I don't trust that either. If you guys don't know what's going on with Wendy Williams, please watch my old videos. I think she is in something worse than even Brittany is. They are bleeding her dry. Kelvin says that some of her family helped. A lot of people point the finger at Kelvin, saying he's the reason. I know some of y'all gonna be like, that's her karma. Baby, karma don't work like that. Karma don't work like that. And now let me just say this. It's in whatever's in God's will is God's will. But God literally takes newborn babies from their parents before they have taken a second breath. You really think that God's sitting there tripping over her saying J-Lo can't dance, or Beyonce's illiterate? I don't believe that Beyonce's not. Or that Diddy was doing the Harlem shake and bake all over people's sons and daughters? Really? You really think that God's that petty that he would smite somebody down for some gossip? Baby, I guess, right? Baby, karma ain't nothing but the accumulation of all your. Wendy had abuse problems. Wendy had substance abuse problems. I truly do believe that Kevin was one of the main things driving her to the substance abuse problems. And I do believe that if you want to believe in karma, again, every man is accountable for his own sins at the gates of heaven. Baby, forget about Wendy. Kevin, you being called to the gates of heaven, and you're not getting in, so you might as well just. Anyway, they said Wendy Williams' guardian demands that Kevin Hunter returns $112,000 that was overpaid in divorce settlements. Again, I'm sorry, her name isn't Sabrina Carpenter. Where did I get that? Her name is Sabrina Morrissey. Where did I get Sabrina Carpenter? Anyway, apologies to is there anyone named Sabrina Carpenter that y'all know? That's not the right girl. They're saying Wendy Williams' guardian Sabrina Mosey is reportedly attempting to recoup $112,500 from the embattled talk show host Kevin Hunter, claiming he was overpaid in divorce settlements. Kevin previously petitioned the court after he stopped receiving money that Wendy agreed to pay him as a condition of their divorce. He said he hasn't received severance payments since 2021. Now, the funny thing is, and this is Kevin wanting to stick it to Wendy. In my opinion, people, Wendy was fine to pay for Sabrina and Kevin. Wendy was just so, I don't even know if it was in love, but it seemed like to me addicted to Kelvin, right? And for those of y'all being like, his name is Kevin. No, it's not. His real name is Calvin, and he changed it to Kevin, or he let people call him Kevin. But we calling him what his mama called him, Satan incarnate. Just joking. We calling him Calvin. But here's my whole point. Wendy was fine with that situation. It was a massive situation, but she was fine. Kevin and his ego, and in my opinion, his jealousy, because he always wanted to be the one, even though Wendy was the one. And they could have built a kingdom. They did if he had just been a supportive parent partner. But he didn't want that. He didn't want that. He wanted to be everything. And he was mad that Wendy had it. So what did he do? He started cheating on her. She was like, all right, fine, I'll pay for your mistress. Just don't have kids. He had a kid with her. And it's fine, baby. Go live your life. Right? Because who was Wendy to demand that? But the fact that Kelvin somehow thought that Wendy was going to keep bankrolling him, baby, he got another thing coming. They're saying as Radar reported, Wendy was placed under court-ordered guardianship in May 2022, leaving Sabrina in charge of her finances. Now they said she had 40 million when she went in. I want to see how much Kevin Jr. actually gets in his inheritance. And for those of y'all saying you saw the doc, he spends money, please go get some friends with trust fund. The money Wendy was spending on Kevin, and she is a multimillionaire, was nothing compared to whose parents don't pay for their apartment that's between 8 and 10,000 a month, pay for Uber Eats, pay for this. Again, just because you wouldn't do it for your children, just because you don't know anybody that does it, does not mean that that is not the standard and the industry norm. Nothing Kevin was getting, nothing was extravagant or over what a normal child in that spot would get. And baby, if you're saying, well, I wouldn't do that to my children, well, baby, go get 50 million and then you treat your children the way you want. But I guarantee you, your song's going to change. Anyway, in the court filing obtained by the U.S. Sun, Sabrina argued that the marital settlement agreement, the severance payments, were to end if Wendy's annual income dropped below a certain amount. Now, isn't that funny? Kevin was so sure that Wendy was going to work forever that he thought this was like a safety. The only thing is, it seems like that toxic relationship y'all had, in my opinion, had broken her so much that the one thing she loved to do that gave her peace was work. She wasn't even able to do that. Um, she claimed that Wendy's income dipped significantly in October 2021 when she stopped hosting the Wendy Williams show. She continued to pay Kevin. He says in his motion papers that he was paid through January 2022. As a result, Kevin has been unjustly enriched by $112,000. Do you know Wendy was paying this man $37,500 a month? A month in what is it? Not I guess it's alimony. That's one of the reasons they said he never remarried Sabrina, because he didn't want his alimony to start. So if you getting this much, can you imagine how much he had access to, while if he had just like loved her and treated her right? Sabrina's requesting this money be returned to the media mogul and moved for a gag order. Now, this is what I don't agree, to prevent Kevin from discussing the matter. She also urged his request to reopen the case and courts get dismissed, suggesting an arbitration instead. Now, this is the part where I'm like, you don't know, you don't like either team, so you don't know who to root for. This part, I'm actually rooting for Kelvin, because honestly, they do seem like they're doing something shady, and you want that gag order so you can continue to steal from her. Kevin has requested that the payments resume, demanding Wendy's financial records from the divorce be present and released. Now, Kelvin did admit that he did a little side deal, saying that, yeah, he wouldn't fight the guardianship, at least if I understand it right. He wouldn't fight the guardianship if he could actually see what was in Wendy's accounts. And they were like, yeah, we got you. And then as soon as they got control over Wendy's accounts, they stopped taking those calls, answering them, and said, we ain't doing nothing. Kevin Jr. is now emancipated. That means he's completely on his own and a full-time student at Barry University in Florida. Let's also not forget that Wendy said as long as Kelvin was in school, she would support his lifestyle. And if you can't understand a rich person's child getting 15,000 a month budget, then you just again, we can't say we want generational wealth for our children without understanding the way generational wealth looks. We honestly can't. Okay. This is an emergent matter because I rely on the severance pay um, for my living expenses. And having been without this income for 23 months has affected me greatly. This is what a grown man is writing to the court. Meanwhile, Wendy's son is getting in the mud and actually working. All he cares about is seeing his mama again. But Kelvin Sr. was begging. Therefore, I respectfully request the court require Wendy to immediately pay all severance payments, which may be due and owing at the time of the court's order. Um, yeah. Wendy was paid $400K per episode for the 4-part documentary, the one that drew backlash. But I think it was the greatest thing because it let everybody know what Sabrina Carpenter was up to. Um, yeah, listen, we're going to keep you updated on this. Sabrina's also fighting the contract's validity and explosive lawsuit against A&E Network Television. Sabrina, you were in charge. You signed off on it. And now that it blew up in your face and everybody thinks that you are a lying, scheming, dangerous person, and your law firm is like little schemers, now you want to roll it back, baby. You are from a firm that only handles this, and you had lawyers anyway, right? She had to say she was not capable of consenting to terms of the documentary contract, but the people you hired consented to it. No one was acting in Wendy's best interest, would allow her to be portrayed in a demeaning manner in which she was portrayed in a trailer. Now, don't get me wrong, she was not portrayed in the best way, but the real losers were the people around her that are entrusted and paid by the court against Wendy's consent and the family's consent to look after her. She alleged that producers insisted Wendy would be portrayed in a positive manner. She was. If we had known she had dementia, no one have rolled the camera. This is what the producer said. Again, Sabrina kept that hidden. It has been debated about whether Wendy's dementia is real or if it's actually drug induced. Because I will say one thing, a lot of people on Sabrina Carpenter's side are getting rich, and some would say unjustly enriched. And listen, it said money makes people do some strange things. It's a dirty world out there. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.